Step by step, how to stop being broke and absolutely crush it in 2025. In fact, it's not only how to crush it, but it's how to actually get your shit together in 2025. Now, the purpose behind this video is it's that time of year, right? It's the end of 2024, it's mid-December, the festive season is right around the corner. People are starting to take their downtime, they're starting to assess their year, starting to think ahead to 2025 and beyond. And typically, if you're like most people, you are thinking about all the goals that you should have achieved in 2024 and how you might go about doing it differently in 2025. And chances are, you probably are gonna end up repeating the same mistakes over and over again. And I can say this because I have done this many times over. I am by no means making this video as someone that is the absolute epitome of perfection in life and business, but I have been around the block when it comes to all the good things to do, when it comes to trying to optimize your performance and grow in business. And I've also done all of the bad things. So in this video, I want to really break down step by step how to literally stop being broke and having the mentality of a broke person and get your actual shit together in 2025. And when I use the term broke, I'm kind of using that as a bit of clickbait, right? I'm not literally saying how to stop actually being broke, or chances are you might genuinely be broke watching this video, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not necessarily thinking of this from just a monetary perspective. I'm mainly actually thinking about it from more of a mental capacity, right? Because what's in your head tends to manifest in real life. And I do think that having limitations or a scarce mindset and kind of that feeling of being broke is so powerful that it then kind of insidiously bleeds into so many other areas of your life that you don't even realize. And when you have that kind of negative, scarce, broke mentality, it negatively affects so many different areas that you're probably not even aware about. So when I'm talking about broke, that's what I'm referring to. And the biggest manifestation is your actual bank balance, lack of funds coming in or really struggling to make ends meet. And I want to help you in this video overcome those and how you can actually action the things that I'm going to cover in a step-by-step framework that you can follow. And this is something that I have specifically put together to be as actionable as possible, right? There's no fancy woo-woo manifestation stuff or anything like that here. Not that any of that doesn't work. Again, I'm no expert in anything like that, but I want to give you guys practical insights, right? I want to give you guys a framework and a kind of play-by-play that you can actually follow that is going to be tangible, where you can literally watch this video and go, right, okay, if I action X, Y, and Z, I'm going to get Y output, right? And that's what I want you to really take away from this video. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about here is your health. Now, you might be thinking, Anthony, why are we talking about health? This is supposed to help me stop being broke and absolutely crush it in 2025. Well, without your health, there is no wealth, right? You can't have a strong mind without a strong body. And this is something that I have found to be true time and time again. When my health is in check and I feel good, I look good, and I am taking care of myself, that tends to bleed in and manifest into so many different areas of my life and business. When I feel good about the work I'm doing, I feel good about my relationships, I feel good about the trajectory that I'm going on. I tend to just find that everything just becomes a little easier when you take care of your health. So that really is like the first thing that you absolutely need to have nailed in order to get your shit together in 2025. Because the amount of people that just have absolutely no bearing when it comes to their health and wellness, and it literally is the cornerstone to everything else that you do in your life, right? Without your health, you literally have nothing. And I'm gonna explain how it connects and kind of leads on to so many different areas of life and business, that when you actually start to kind of connect the dots and realize just how fundamentally crucial having your health in check is, you're going to realize that, okay, you need to start putting way more time and attention into your overall health. And when I'm talking about health, I'm not necessarily saying you need to have an absolute shredded six-pack or the perfect bikini body or be some freaking fitness model or anything like that. I'm just talking about doing the basic things right, okay? Not eating junk all the time, not eating constant processed foods, listening to your body, understanding what makes your body tick and work more efficiently. And I'm gonna go in and break all those down in more detail. So health is absolutely number one. Now, you might be saying, okay, well, how do I improve my health? What do I actually need to do? Well, first thing is your diet, right? You need to get your diet in check. I'm not saying you need to go and follow any type of nutrition protocol. I'm not recommending you go carnivore. I'm not recommending you become a vegan. I'm not recommending you become a pescatarian or a vegetarian or only eat a grain of sand every day, whatever. I'm not advocating for any specific type of diet or nutrition program to follow. I want you to figure out what works for you and just do that, right? If you are someone that likes to make scrambled eggs on toast and eat it every day, like I do that. If that's what makes you feel good, if that's what keeps you satisfied, but you don't need to go and have loads of junk food in between, then eat that, right? You need to be an adult in this situation, right? Just don't be stupid. You typically know what makes your body feel good, so do that. And my kind of rule of thumb, and when I'm talking about diet, what I want you to do is go into a slight caloric deficit of 300 calories. Now, again, I want to preface, I'm not trying to make you get shredded and lose a ton of weight or anything like that. The reason why I'm suggesting this is because if you are someone that typically doesn't pay much attention to their diet and their nutrition, their caloric intake, their macronutrient splits, anything like that, again, a lot of this goes outside of the scope of this video, but for most people, when you're in a slight deficit, if you're anything like me, you tend to just work more efficiently, right? That little bit of deficit kind of creates the ability for you to think a little bit clearer, not be so full, and kind of helps you with that brain fog and things like that. Of course, if you're already in like the kind of fitness space and your nutrition and health is kind of nailed, then you can skip through a lot of what I'm going to say, but I'm not only just going to talk about, your food intake and things like that, but being in a slight caloric deficit is going to help you with your body composition. It's going to help you reduce your body weight and body fat, less body fat, and overall kind of just having less weight on your frame is going to help you to be more efficient. And that efficiency is going to bleed into your business, your life, your relationships, all the things that we're going to cover later on in this video. So diet, number one, that's the main thing. And a rule of thumb as well, when you're looking at like your macronutrient split, try and get at least 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's like a rule of thumb. And then fill in the rest of your calories with between carbohydrates and fats. I'm not too bothered so long as you are in a 300 calorie deficit. If you want to figure out how to understand what your deficit is and how to calculate it, go on Google and type in TDEE calculator. That is a total daily energy expenditure calculator. You'll basically have to put in your height, your weight, your age, and then it will spit out a number of like what your average baseline TDEE is, which is like a total amount of calories. And then you literally subtract 300 from that. That's the amount of calories you should be eating per day. Next thing, gym and training. I want you to be training 3 times a week minimum. The reason why, because I think having that discipline and moving your body is going to not only help you to feel better, it's going to improve your overall mental and physical well-being, and it's going to also benefit, and you're going to get the most out of being in the diet of actually looking after yourself and making the most of that by being in the gym. Kind of lifting in the gym, there's so many scientific studies that I have no clue about and can explain in this video that talk about the benefits of exercise, improved diet. There's so many benefits to it. I personally am a huge advocate of going to the gym at least 3 times a week at a minimum. You don't have to lift crazy weights. You can do CrossFit, you can do spin classes, you can do boxing classes, whatever it might be, just move more. I recommend 3 days a week as a minimum. Cardio, 60 minutes per week. Again, your diet is important, your body's movement and actually exercising the muscles, vitally important. And with that, your heart health, your actual cardiovascular system. 60 minutes per week. I'm not saying again, you have to be doing HIIT classes or freaking go and run marathons or anything like that. A light jog, incline walk, on the bike, Stairmaster, whatever it is that you like to do, going out for a jog, I think I mentioned that already, whatever it is, 60 minutes per week can be split across any days you like. I recommend 60 minutes as a baseline. Again, healthy heart, healthy cardiovascular system is going to make you feel better. It's going to be complemented by your gym training and your improved nutrition. That is going to overall make you feel better. And again, that's going to have so many other benefits in your life and business that we're going to go on to later in this video. Sleep, man, I cannot tell you how important your sleep is. 7 to 8 hours per night. That is what I recommend. Some people will shout about how I only get 1 hour of sleep, man, and I will just stay awake for days and I'm so efficient and I can do X, Y, and Z with no sleep, blah, 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 blah. Those people will crash and burn eventually. Like, I don't care who they are, what they claim, like team no sleep, whatever. It's all a fad, it's bullshit. People that sleep and have their sleep absolutely dialed are 100% gonna beat out those that will just try and power through and stay awake and have this whole hustle mentality. It's unsustainable. It's not going to benefit you in the long run. Your sleep is so, so important. The amount of things that happen while you sleep, both physically and mentally, in terms of like your cognitive function improving, your memory recall, your body's ability to repair itself and kind of get deep rest. Sleep is so, so important. I would definitely recommend getting some kind of sleep tracker. I myself have an Oura Ring. There's also a Whoop band. You can get Fitbits. Like, there's even apps you can just get on your phone now. There are so many things that you can do to track your sleep. So definitely try and get your sleep absolutely nailed. Now, if you want an extra special hack for your sleep, 2 things. ZMA supplement before you sleep. Zinc, magnesium, and I'm not actually sure what the third one is. A ZMA tablet. They're super cheap. You can get them from like any supplement store. And a sleep mask. This is something that I've recently only discovered. I've been wearing one for about a month now. I bought mine from, I think it's called Manta Sleep. Absolute game changer. Just completely blacks out, all light. I myself am quite a light sleeper and I hate light. I want to be in like the darkest room, freezing cold. That's how I sleep the most effective. When you have a sleep mask, it just helps your sleep tremendously. I also feel like just by having a little bit of pressure over my eyes, I don't know what it is. It's something that just makes it feel more secure, and I just find that I sleep way, way better. My sleep stats have gone through the roof since wearing one, so that's a little hack I would recommend. 7 to 8 hours. You can get away with 6. Anything less than 6 is probably going to be detrimental, but again, it really does depend on the individual. Some people can function absolutely fine on 6. Some people need 9 hours sleep. It all depends. Just do what's right for you, but I can't recommend enough getting your sleep absolutely dialed. Next up, steps. 10K steps per day. Again, just to complement what you're doing with your cardio and your heart health, it's also a really good opportunity to get out there, take a breather, actually just get away from your desk, get away from work, whatever is going on in your day to day. Going out for like kind of scheduled periods of a walk, just give you an opportunity to kind of clear your mind, right? For me, I love to like listen to YouTube videos. I'll put in an audiobook or a podcast. My evening walks or during the day, if I'm like walking to go get a coffee somewhere locally, I cherish all of that time because it's just time for me where I can think about what I'm doing, whatever I'm working on, get my steps in, I feel good, and I'm able to just kind of, take some time to learn something new in a podcast or a book or whatever it is that I'm kind of consuming via my phone. Steps, absolute game changer. I absolutely love it. Again, it's going to help you the overall health and fitness, and it's going to complement everything that we have already discussed. So again, to kind of conclude this section, you limit having a strong mind without a strong body. The reason why I have put this first as like the first part of the step-by-step guide to literally stop being broke and get your shit together in 2025 is that most people absolutely neglect this. They will go into 2025 with all these lofty goals and ambitions of all these things that they want to do. But fundamentally, if they are putting poison in their body every single weekend and getting blasted at the freaking bar and, drinking super high amounts of alcohol and binge drinking, whatever else you might be consuming as well, eating really, really bad food. I'm not saying, right, that you need to not ever have a takeaway, right? I love junk food. I love KFC, I love Nando's, I love McDonald's, I love pizza, I love freaking cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory. I like all of it, right? But what I tend to find is when I overindulge on those things, everything else is negatively impacted. From my sleep, from my gym routine, from my healthy habits and all the little things like going and getting my steps, because it's all a knock-on effect, right? When I have that burger or whatever, or I have something bad, I then go, oh, well, I might as well have dessert, right? And then that says, okay, well, I've had dessert, so maybe I'll have some popcorn as well. And then you wake up the next morning, you've had a bad sleep, you don't really feel good, you're really dehydrated, and you're like, oh, well, I'm not really feeling that good, so do you know what? I'm not gonna go for that walk to get my coffee, I'm just gonna have something delivered, right? So you then don't get those steps. And then you have a few bad meetings, and you've got a really busy day, it's a Monday, and you're like, oh, do you know what? I can't be bothered to go to the gym today, I'm not gonna go. So then you don't go to the gym, and then you're like, oh, well, I haven't been to the gym, so let me order some more junk food, right? And it just kind of repeats itself, and it kind of gets you into a negative spiral that then becomes really difficult to get out of. So having this nailed is going to compound over the long term. Every positive action that you take is going to reinforce all of the good habits that you're trying to build in the start of the new year. And that is going to massively impact everything else that you go on to do in the immediate short term and later on throughout 2025. So please, please, please have your health absolutely nailed. Okay, moving on to the next part, mindset. So mindset is super important. Again, I'm not gonna give you anything that is like super woo-woo or like any thing that I don't actually do, right? I wanna actually just give you the things that I myself am actually doing, okay? So number one thing to improve your mindset is read books and podcasts. I am not an expert in mindset and all the things that you need to do to absolutely crush it in 2025, right? I'm not making this video to try and position myself as the ultimate guru for mindset and how to be successful, right? That's not me, I'm not your guy. But what I can do is share with you the things that over the last decade that I have done that has instilled the mindset that I have today, which I think is pretty freaking positive. So the first thing, the number one thing that I would do is I would absolutely binge reading books and podcasts. Is it the most effective use of your time on a day-to-day basis? No, but I think that they are very, very beneficial if you are constantly consuming them in structured ways, right? So when you're out for a walk or you're in the gym, whatever, and you're listening to audiobooks and podcasts and whatever, I think it's really important. Am I saying go and read books and listen to podcasts and audiobooks instead of getting your work done that you know you should be doing? Absolutely not. Don't let this be a distraction. But these are the things that I think are very, very important in order to understand what a successful mindset looks like when it comes to improving your life and business. Because the amount of wealth of information that is available to you in some of the most renowned people in psychology, in business, just the access to information we have is absolutely insane. And it blows me away that people just don't utilize the basic fundamentals of information that's available to us today. Read interesting books from people that you like and respect, listen to their podcasts and audiobooks. You're gonna pick up on so many things over the long term that you're just not gonna find anywhere else, right? You're not just gonna miraculously come up with these ideas for yourself. So I highly, highly encourage you to read books, consume podcasts and audiobooks. Absolutely game changer for improving your mindset. Comment below if you want some recommendations on some books and podcasts, and I'll leave those for you in the comments. Second one, create a vision board. So right behind the camera, I did this for the very first time this year, towards the end of this year, that is basically my 2025 vision board that I've put together. I'm not gonna show you because it's quite personal for me, but this is something that I would really, really, really recommend you do. I have always been terrible at goal setting and getting clear on what I want to achieve. I've always just kind of done the thing and just kind of gone with the flow and just kind of seeing what happens, right? I have a rough idea of where I want to go, and that's tended to like lead me in the right direction, but I feel like when you don't have a clear goal and direction, it becomes very difficult then to make sure that you're taking the actions that are getting you on the right path, if that makes sense. Because when you don't have a goal, you aren't really aiming for anything. So then as a result, you're kind of perhaps taking not the right steps that's going to get you to where you ultimately want to be. So for me, my way of kind of reverse engineering goal setting was to actually kind of visualize the end and then work backwards with what I needed to do from get there. So that might be something that I actually create in a whole separate video, because I like to figure out the end result of what I want and then go, okay, this is what my vision looks like. This is what the end needs to be. What do I need to do and what are the steps that I need to take in order to achieve that over a certain time period and time horizon? And that's what I've done, and that I think is extremely powerful, because it's the first time in a long time since I kind of got started in this kind of online business marketing world 9 or 10 years ago, right? I took my first Facebook ads course in Christmas 2013. Nearly 11 years ago was when I first saw an ad and was introduced to Facebook ads. Like, it's crazy how fast time goes. That for me has been really powerful, because this has been the first time since coming across that ad and buying that Facebook ads course all those years ago, where I really feel that I'm going into 2025 completely laser focused and aligned with what I'm trying to achieve in the next year. And the vision board has been a huge part of that. So think about all the different elements of like what your life looks like, personal relationships, your health, your wellness. For me, I break it down into 4 categories that I learned from Tai Lopez: health, wealth, love, and happiness. Those 4 things encapsulate what I believe to make a successful person. And under those kind of 4 pillars, that's what I've kind of based my vision board on. So all the things that I want to achieve within health, all the things that I want to achieve within wealth, all the things I want to achieve within love, and happiness is kind of the amalgamation of all of those things. So I would definitely encourage you to create a vision board. I would create it digitally on Canva and then get it printed out in a print shop and then get it framed in your house like I have. I've got mine above my desk behind this camera, and I look at it every single day, and I find it really, really beneficial. Set annual and quarterly goals. So going on from creating a vision board, this is something again which I've started to do. I've now started to create actual quarterly and annual goals of what I want to do. And for me, a lot of them are quite quantitative, in the sense that like they're very numbers focused. But then there's also others that are a bit more qualitative, like creating content, for example, just like actually putting things out there and making a certain amount of videos per month. That is something that I have massively implemented in Q4, which is why you're watching this video, because I've set myself a goal of making a video a week, publishing it every Sunday or Monday, and then making 3 to 5 short form videos per week as well. That is part of my kind of plan moving into 2025. And I wanted to start early in the end of 2024 in Q4 to kind of get a head start and kind of get with the flow, essentially. Now, I've also added some optional bonuses and optional/bonus things as well under mindset. Meditate. I've gone through a period in the past, I will admit, of meditating. I use the Headspace app. I found it quite beneficial. My problem is that I just struggle to be consistent with it. So I didn't see enough of a benefit long term to justify taking the 10 to 15 minutes out of my morning and kind of doing the meditation. It's definitely beneficial and I liked the practice, but I did find that I like to just kind of get up and get on, and I couldn't really find a slot throughout my day other than first thing in the morning to like do that meditation. And for me, I didn't see that it was enough of a need to justify delaying my work day by taking that 10 to 15 minutes. It's definitely something that some people would want to do. And I know people that do meditate regularly that absolutely swear by it. And for me, I just liked it as kind of a mindfulness practice, but not enough for me to want to do it over the long term. So it's more so in periods where I just have a lot going on, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to meditating for a couple of weeks, first thing in the morning, just calm my mind, kind of bring my cortisol levels down, just kind of really process my thoughts and, not be so like mentally in my head with stuff, just kind of let it go and, kind of be at one, if you will. So that's something that I would definitely recommend. And the Headspace app is a great way. Guided meditations, like $7 a month, super beneficial. Networking. Now, a bit of an obscure one. I put this under mindset because I think, again, just like reading books and podcasts and kind of learning from influential people that are experts in their field, I do think that physically networking with people that you either aspire to be like or those that are your peers that are kind of on the same wavelength as you also breeds into creating a mindset that is going to propel you forward. If you surround yourself by people that are like-minded, have a similar vision and goals to you, and they are going after similar types of things, being around them and networking with them is going to help reinforce the mindset that you're trying to create. So I put that there because I think it's something that people don't realize, that you are the closest 5 people that you spend the most time on, I think is the saying, that you spend the most time with, I believe is the saying. And for me, I'm very particular of where I spend my time and who I spend my time with. I don't like negative people. I don't like people that, do not inspire me to be a better version of myself. And I want to be surrounded by people that are going to help me level up and people that I can help level up as well. And I feel that that environment is the best way to breed and foster a positive mindset and ultimately grow as an individual and as a group of kind of social circle that you have around you. And then that finally kind of leads me on to environment and inspiration. I am the biggest advocate for your environment as being like your biggest catalyst for inspiration and just, I guess, visualizing what it is that you're trying to achieve in your life. For me, when I first got started with kind of working in marketing in the online world, I knew that I wanted to base myself in a place that was going to inspire me and help me to level up on a regular basis. That's why ultimately it's led me to living here in Dubai. Before that, I was living in Bali and I was traveling all over Southeast Asia, and I kind of loved that lifestyle. But then as I got kind of, I guess, more mature and kind of more disciplined in business, I don't know if that's the right word, but started to take business a lot more seriously, moving from like the island life, which was a lot more chilled in Bali and Southeast Asia, to then moving to a big metropolitan city, bigger mindsets, bigger opportunities. For me, I needed to make that jump. So your environment is going to be a huge kind of influence of what you do, how you spend your time, and how you feel as well. For me, the feeling I get from a place has a huge impact in how I operate. For me, if I don't feel like I fit in with where I am, or I don't really feel inspired by my surroundings, I tend to disengage. I really need to be in an environment that makes me feel a certain way. And for me, I get that feeling from Dubai. There might be other places around the world that make you feel that way, but I do feel that, the kind of awe and brilliance of this city and how far ahead, being completely honest, it is of so many other places in the world, that inspires me. And I think that that is kind of bled into so many elements of the environment here that ultimately it gives me such a positive feeling, which overall improves my mindset for the positive. So mindset leading on from health. And again, having your health in check is only going to help you when it comes to maintaining a strong mind, because again, you limit having a strong mind without a strong body. So you need this in order to foster this in the most effective way possible. Health leads to successful mindset. Healthy mind, healthy body, and vice versa. Super, super important. Okay, now let's get into the kind of really big part that will make up the rest of this video. So I want to talk about business now, and specifically the things that you need to be doubling down on in 2025, these are the high level things that you just need to be having in mind when it comes to approaching your business in 2025 and forever. Like this video, it doesn't matter when you watch it, right? It doesn't need to be New Year. I've made this title because everyone has these fanciful ideas of, oh, it's a new year, new me, and don't get me wrong, I've been there, I've done that as well. But these things that I'm going to cover with you are applicable at any time. You can literally start them right now from when you see this video. You don't need to wait till January 1st. You don't need to wait till 2026. You can literally just start applying what I'm sharing with you now, and you're gonna see it improve so many different elements of your life and business. From health, mindset, business, like relationships, everything, it all compounds. And that's why I get really passionate about this stuff, because these are all the things that I've always known I've needed to do, but I left it so many years until I started getting all of these in check. Am I saying I have them all absolutely nailed all the time, 365 days a year? Absolutely not. But I am very mindful that these are the main things that I need to be focusing on in order to propel me forward towards the goals and vision that I have for the future. And I've distilled them down and sharing with you in this video. So please, 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 if you do anything, just watch this video again and go over all of these points and really deep them for a moment and actually just think about, am I doing these things? Am I actually taking the time to look after my health? Am I actually doing the things that I need to be doing to improve my mindset? Am I surrounding myself with the right kind of people that are going to help me move forward in my life and business? If the answer is no, get rid of all of the crap and just do the things that you know you should be doing, because these are the real things that are actually going to move the needle when it comes to trying to make the most out of 2025. Because I say all this, like, stop being broke and get your shit together. Like, this is just a clickbaity title. This is literally just how to make the most out of 2025 and not be a little bitch, right? You just, how to make the most out of your year. This is how you absolutely squeeze the most amount out of the next year. And I'm now gonna kind of go into the business part. Bit of a side rant there. So let's go into business now. So when it comes to business in the next year, what are the main things that you need to be focused on? Number one, do not focus on the small things. Only focus on high leverage activities. I recently made a video about this because the amount of people that I speak to, whether it's coaching clients, whether it's actual clients or the agency, whether it's just people asking for advice, whatever it might be, I myself, from personal experience, why I've put this literally number one, it's so easy to distract yourself and procrastinate by doing all these tiny menial tasks that you know don't move the needle forward. Cleaning up your desk and, you know, updating the footer on your website, or updating an image, or, you know, posting some basic thing on your Instagram with no real purpose, just to say that you've posted today. Like, just doing things on autopilot without any kind of pre-thought, right? Everything that you're doing as a business owner, you need to be thinking, does this have high leverage and is it gonna move my business forward, right? If it's something that you've been doing for the last year and you're still in the same position as you was a year ago, chances are whatever you're doing doesn't do much and it's not moving the needle forward and it's not helping you grow and scale whatever it is you're doing. So stop doing it. Take a step back and think, okay, what are the high leverage activities that I need to be doing in order to take my business forward? Those are the things that on a daily basis, they should be the first things that you think about on a daily basis. The minute you sit down at your desk and you're at your laptop or you're at your computer, whatever it is, you go to the office, you go to your co-working space, you sit in your car, whatever it is and wherever you're working, the first things you should be putting your time and attention on are the high leverage activities that are going to move your business forward and nothing else. Later on, you can worry about all the small menial things later down the line throughout the day. Focus on the high leverage activities. Don't sweat the small stuff, because the small things, you've been doing it all the time and it's not helping you move forward. So only focus on the high leverage activities. Number two, and this is probably one of the biggest high leverage activities that you need to be focusing on. Master your acquisition process, sales. Now, whether you have an e-commerce brand, whether you have an online coaching business, whether you have an agency, whether you have a service-based business, whether you are a real estate agent, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to understand acquisition and how to get customers. No matter what you're doing. If you don't know this, your business is dead. It's done. You have to understand how to acquire customers. You need to know how to do lead generation, how to get attention on what it is that you're doing, and how to sell them, right? Those are the things that are going to move the needle forward. Understanding your acquisition process is a high leverage activity. So if you don't know how to do this, this is number one. This is the most important thing you need to do. Figure out how to get more people to buy your stuff and know that you even exist, right? The amount of people that build stuff and then they sit there and they just go, oh, why is no one buying? Why is no one signing up to what I have to offer? Why is no one becoming a lead? And this thing I've made is so great. It's like you can have the best business in the world. You can have the best lead generation funnel. You can have the most hyper optimized e-commerce store and sales page that would convert at freaking 99.9%. Everyone that goes there would buy, but the fundamental problem is no one knows it exists, right? So you have no attention on what it is that you're doing. And as a result, because you don't understand that, you now have no acquisition process. You have your funnel and everything in place. It's all perfect. It looks amazing, but no one actually sees it, right? Your business is done if you don't understand your acquisition process, right? You have to get good at sales. And one of the big things of getting good at sales is to actually get eyeballs on what it is that you have to offer. So I'm actually skipping ahead one point here, but I'll go back to point 3 in just a moment. So how do you actually do this? Well, you need to get more eyeballs on what it is that you have to offer. How do you get more eyeballs on what it is that you have to offer? You have to get more eyeballs, right? How do you go about getting more eyeballs on what you have to offer? 2 ways, organic traffic or paid ads. Those are the ways that you get people to find out more about you, more about your product, your service, whatever it is. I procrastinated on this for quite literally, years and years and years. Like, I was running ads, doing everything for clients, all the things that I would do with clients, I myself did not do. I didn't create content, I didn't run ads for myself, I wasn't building an email list, I didn't have a clear client acquisition strategy, nothing. I was literally doing all of this stuff for other people, but then sitting there myself going, oh, well, I only get referrals. Like, why am I not growing at the rate that I want to? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm growing, I'm good at what I do. The agency's great, it works really well. But nowhere near was I growing at the rate that I wanted to. And it wasn't until I realized that, maybe I should just do the thing that I do for clients and then maybe I'll start growing. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Turned on ads, got traffic, started generating more leads, closing more clients, right? It literally is that simple. The point I'm trying to make is that there's so many ways to get attention and eyeballs on what it is that you're doing. You just have to do the thing, right? You have to understand your acquisition process. Where are the gaps? What do you need to do? Most of the time, it's not having a clear funnel or sales process and not having enough eyeballs. Those are literally the 2 main things, right? Those are the problems. No sales process, no eyeballs on what you're doing. And because of that, no business growth, okay? So you have to nail that and you have to get more eyeballs on what you're doing. You can do that through organic content. You can do it through paid ads. Whatever route you choose, there's no right or wrong. Again, obviously, if you're gonna do organic, it's gonna be a lot slower burn. Fastest way to do it is paid ads. If you wanna learn how to do paid ads, go and watch some of my previous videos. Now, point 3, the one that I skipped ahead before I went to 4 and 5, is become at one with your data. Now, this is gonna come a little bit later down the line, but for businesses that are really trying to proactively grow, you need to understand where your sticking points are. So if you are kind of really struggling with where you're at right now, that is a data point, right? You can look at across the board, okay, how many visitors does my website get? How much engagement do I get on social media? How much am I spending on paid ads? Or you're probably not even running paid ads, right? If so, what's my return? What's my cost per lead? What's my click-through rate? Like, all of these things that you're doing or not doing is a data point that is literally showing you what you need to do, right? Data leaves clues. So you'll be able to see, based on where the numbers are, where the gaps are and what needs to be filled, right? So understanding and being at one with your data is going to help you get a clear direction on what it is that you need to do and what it is that you need to focus on. So do not neglect that. Now, point 6 is you need to learn and understand that things take time. Do not quit and you can't fail. Again, I don't want you to get 2 or 3 weeks into, pick up another pen, no big deal. I don't want you to get 2 or 3 weeks into the new year and go, oh my God, I'm not doing $250,000 a year. Oh my God, I'm not doing $250,000 a month. I'm an absolute failure, or I haven't got to my first 5K month or 10K month, or whatever your goal is. I don't want you thinking on short-term time horizons and going, oh, this doesn't work, I'm just gonna give up, right? Things take time. Like, if all of this was so easy, everyone would be doing it, right? I know that there's gurus out there and they make videos just like this and they go, yeah, it's so easy, it's so easy. And to be honest, it is quite easy, but it does take time. Like, it's not just gonna happen overnight. You have to do the work. You have to put in the actions in order to get the results, right? And that's typically what is the disconnect between these things that you can follow and that are relatively straightforward to do, but the problem is you don't have the input, right? You don't do the thing that is going to get you the result that you're looking for, because you just expect it to happen. You get an idea and you go, oh, that looks quite hard, maybe I won't do it, and then as a result you don't do it, and then you don't get the result, and then you go, oh, it doesn't work, and it's like, well, it doesn't work because you haven't done anything, right? That is the way that you need to be thinking about it. So understand that things take time. Don't quit and you can't fail. You quite literally cannot fail if you don't quit. If you just carry on, no matter how long it takes, you know, unless you die, you can't fail, right? Just stick with it. Keep doing the things that you know you should be doing and stick on the right track, and you're ultimately gonna get the results that you are looking for. Point 7, implement, learn, refine, implement again, repeat. This is the recipe to success. Everything that you do in your life and business is going to follow this plan, because when you implement, you're going to then get some kind of output off of the back of that implementation. You're going to learn what goes well, what doesn't go so well. You're then going to take those learnings and you're going to refine whatever it is that you're doing, and then you're going to implement again and then understand, okay, what is it that I need to then fix? Repeat the process again, implement, learn, refine, repeat, blah, 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 and go along. Do you see what I mean? Everything is iteration. It's all revolutions, just like Matthew McConaughey in The Wolf of Wall Street. Revolutions. Like, you've just got to keep going through the process. Refine, improve, implement, keep taking the actions. That's how you learn. Like, it's so crazy to me that people don't realize that you can literally learn 1,000 times faster anything that you want just by doing it. Just by doing the thing, you're going to learn 1,000 times quicker than actually theoretically learning about it in a book or an online course, whatever it is. Just by throwing yourself in the deep end and doing the thing, you're going to get so much real-time data and feedback that is going to steer you in the right direction to get you to where you want to be. Just by doing the thing, actually taking the action. So I can't stress enough how important implementation is. And that leads me to kind of the last part of this video, which is fundamentally do the things you know you should be doing. Again, fundamentally do the things you know you should be doing. This is something that I really struggled with, because I unfortunately had the mentality of shiny object syndrome, where I would go through an online course, or I would get really inspired by a YouTube video or a book or a podcast, whatever it is. I get so fired up by this genius strategy that I'd learned, and that dopamine hit, I guess, would mentally tick the box of, oh yeah, I've done it now because I know how to do it and I'll implement it at some point. And I would just never do it. I would never implement whatever it is that I was learning. And as a result, I then lost out on so much time because I ticked the box before I actually did anything. And that is something that a lot of people fall into the trap of. And that's why I wanted to share the success cycle from Tony Robbins. Now, some of you might have already seen this before in the past, but this is probably one of the most profound things that I've ever seen. This could be its own video by itself, but essentially, when we think about action taking, it's doing things that you say to yourself you're going to do, right? When I'm saying you need to take action, that is, you need to do the things that you're telling yourself you are going to do. And the way to think about action and doing the things that you're telling yourself that you should be doing is by looking at the success cycle. Everything starts off with potential, right? You, me, like we have an innate level of potential within us with whatever we're trying to do and achieve. We have this level of potential, and that potential then gets fostered into taking some kind of action, right? We do something towards whatever it is we're working on, right? Whether it's health and looking after our body, whether it's improving our mindset, whether it's growing in business, whatever it might be, we take some kind of action. Now, off the back of that action then leads to some kind of output, right? Some kind of result. And that result, good, hopefully, or bad, is going to help us with understanding and improving our belief and the certainty, right? So obviously, most likely the result is going to be somewhat positive. And when you get some kind of positive reinforcement and feedback, that's then going to improve your belief and the certainty behind what it is that you're doing. As a result of that improved belief and certainty behind what you're doing, that's going to increase your potential. That increased potential then leads to increased action. That increased action breeds better results improves the belief, and so on and so forth. Like, this is literally why Tony Robbins calls this the success cycle, because it is a constant cycle of improvement. And when you understand this and you realize that all of us have this innate level of potential within us, and then when we take the actions and those actions lead to positive results, those positive results enforce our beliefs in a positive way that give us certainty. When we have that, it then leads to more potential and the cycle continues. This is the most powerful thing that you can possibly understand when it comes to taking action in anything. Because when you do this over time, it's like if you've done anything, right, and you get a positive result, you're like, let's do it again, let's go. Like, you want to keep doing it because you're getting the positive reinforcement. That is what Tony Robbins was trying to explain when he was depicting the success cycle. So I've covered and thrown a lot at you in this video, and I've tried to make it as non-gimmicky and, fluffy as possible, because these are really just fundamentally the things that you need to be doing, right? I've not sugarcoated anything or tried to do anything that's that's impossible for you to actually do. Like, these are just the things that I often have to tell myself and remind myself of, that I've over the years understood and learned that have the biggest impact when it comes to improving my life and business. And this is quite literally the step-by-step guide that I would follow in order to stop being broke and get my shit together in 2025. You do all of this in 2025 and you're gonna have an absolutely amazing year. So I hope this was useful for you. If you do have any comments, leave them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.